Want to see early content and more from The Cinema Snob? Become a supporter over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob, where you get to see early viewings of new episodes. Plus, you can see installments of our supersized episodes, including the first parts of our upcoming 1962 in film episode. All that and more over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob.
Okay, I'm here. Only 7 minutes? Okay, cool. 7 minutes. Only 7 minutes late this time. Oh, just flipped over to 8 minutes. It's 7:08, according to this. Here's what happened. Totally my fault. So, I actually did come in here before the show started. We finished watching our TV show out there. Came in here, sat down, got the things set up and everything. I'm used to coming in here and doing that maybe 15, 20 minutes before I go live. This time it was, I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes before 7. So just instinctively, I thought I had more time than I did. It's not that I was like, running around getting things set up. Oh, I'm getting down to the wire. Oh no, I got it set up and everything in pretty good time. And then was just kind of on my phone for a little bit, just 'cause I'm just used to having more time. Looked up, I was like, oh, it's 7:01, and I can hear Bert out there at the door, letting me know that I gotta jump on here to go live. Bert thought that I don't know if you can hear him out there, but he's meowing a little bit. Bert thought that I'd probably already hit go live, so he's out there getting his opening musical number out of the way. So it was like 7:01 or something. I was like, oh, I gotta switch it on. But then, I'm not even kidding. But then I was like, well, I'm already late. I might as well go use the restroom one more time. And grab some water. It kind of worked out, because it's always nice having some water or something sitting here. Before the baby, I would be sitting here with coffee. After the baby, gotta get as much sleep as I possibly can. So I have some coffee about an hour before I go on, and then I'm like, I'll go ahead and stick to water, and then typically go to bed afterwards. Like when I go see the movies in theaters, my stomach hates me even more now because I'm just going right to sleep with popcorn belly. I hope you guys did. I hope you guys liked it. I did a short for the new movies last week, which was easy to do. I got 2 new movies tomorrow. I got Argyle and some kids movie that I haven't gotten a trailer for. I think it's a sequel. It's got a subtitle like it's a sequel. Jungle something Operation Meltdown. Is it called Jungle Bunch? Operation Meltdown? I'll find out tomorrow if it's a sequel or not. If it starts out with a refresher, then I might know. Otherwise, or maybe it's just cheap and they just cut out the first half hour of the movie and condensed it into a nice opening. But I got 2 movies tomorrow. There'll be review shorts for those. Last week it worked out. I only had 1 movie last week. Now, granted, that movie that I saw last Friday was 2 hours and 40 minutes long with an intermission. I love going to see the Indian movies so much. One, well, but most of them are entertaining. Even when one is bad, I'm like, well, I'm not bored by this. But here's one of the main reasons. The movie's 2.5 hours long. Fighter, that I went to go see last week. I go in there. No trailers in front of it. Boom. Movie starts at, let's say 7. I don't think I saw it at 7, but let's say 7. Boom. Movie starts at 7. Also, every single one of them has an intermission, even if it's one that's only like 2 hours and 8 minutes long, because they're all going to be over 2 hours. But even if there's one that's 2 hours and 8 minutes, still an intermission in there. At the Regal movies, they don't do the intermissions for those. It would just say like interval, and then the movie would just continue. But the Regal, which used to be the Regal near us, the movie theater that's closest to us. It was a Regal up until a couple of months ago, and now it's a Cinemark. But with it being a Cinemark, they keep the intermissions in them. It's awesome. Zero trailers, intermissions is the perfect movie-going experience, even though I didn't recommend the movie I saw last week. I went to go see this movie, Fighter, and I had notes written down for it, but again, starting to do them more as shorts now, because that just it fits in better with my schedule and Laura's work schedule as well. So there was some things that I kind of had to leave out of my review for Fighter. If you haven't seen the review that I put up for Fighter, again, it's a short over on this channel, and the review for it did pretty well when I put it on TikTok. I mean, well, compared to some of the other videos I have on TikTok. You can follow us on there. It's the same stuff that I have on YouTube as shorts, but we have a TikTok under the Cinema Snob as well, and I put the short movie reviews over there too. So what Fighter was is from the director of War and Pathan. Both of those movies I loved. Both of it, Pathan made my top 10. That I put up the other day. War, I'm pretty sure that made my top 10 that year too. Fighter, like, it was just kind of okay. Like, mostly it's a pretty generic, like, Top Gun clone, except for the last 20 minutes that are batshit crazy and entertaining as hell when it drops Top Gun and just becomes Operation Wolf on the arcade. I can't wait for the sequel. So the last 20 minutes will be Operation Thunderbolt. But there were a couple of crazy things in it that I didn't mention. Again, like I said, most of the movie I thought was mediocre, except there were some things that did amp it up into high gear. Just not enough for me to rise it above a C grade, which is what I gave it. So there's a scene in this movie where, imagine you're watching Top Gun and the whole group of them are all out at a restaurant having dinner. Now imagine if there was a scene where they dared Maverick that he would be able to go up to a random table and just talk them into taking their food. That's what the lead in this movie does, Hrithik Roshan, he's an awesome actor. He was also in War. But what he does, there's a scene in this film where he goes up to a table, and with his power of handsomeness, I'm not exaggerating at all, he uses handsomeness in this movie like Obi-Wan uses the Force. Like, it's almost like the Great Leslie and the Great Race. Like, if his eyes and teeth like twinkled, it would be exactly that. He goes up to a table, these two women are sitting at it, and they are so infatuated with his good looks. And he knows what he's doing. He is intentionally using his handsomeness to get them to give them their food. And they do. And this happens like twice in it. Later on, I can't remember the context, but later on, he does the same thing. Maybe it's to get into like enemy territory or something like that. He uses the twinkle in his eyes. And although one thing they do to sneak into enemy territory is also one of the funny things about it. There's a part where they have to fly into the enemy's country to rescue some hostages, I believe, and like take out this terrorist organization. So our heroes are in this big cargo plane, and they've flown across the border, and then the villains get on the radio. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be there." And the guy who's with the Indian Army, the guy who's the pilot in the cargo plane, puts on this hilariously and intentionally, I think it's part of the joke, bad Russian accent to say to the villain on the radio, like, "Oh, so we are Russian pilot. We lost. we just flown into your country by mistake. Our map not working. We need help as Russian pilot to get out of this country. And they're like, yeah, just turn around the way you came, all right? You're not in Russia. Leave. Just go. Like, okay, well, thank you. But then this was all a cover because the villains are looking at the radar, and on the radar, it's showing the outline of this cargo plane, which is masking the fact that flying on top of it, not that they're sitting on top of the cargo plane, but flying on top of it is one jet and then another jet on top of it, so that, like, the icon on the radar is shielding that, you know, Iceman and Maverick are flying on top of it. That part was pretty funny. And also, just imagine Top Gun if it had a sadistic villain from a completely different movie. Like, the villain in this movie, the villain in this film, muscle-bound, grabbing machine guns, shooting everything, and then in the last act, just decides to explain to our hero how he brutally tortured one of his friends who died like halfway into the film. Like, it's like you're watching Top Gun if Top Gun had a villain come in and just describe a scene from Sallow to our hero. Like, more so than you think, really. Anyway, the last 20 minutes of it were fantastic. I am very tired, people. I'm glad I could amp myself up by talking about that for a little bit. Make sure you get your super chat questions in there, too. We get to those whenever I'm done rambling. And as the promo at the beginning said, support us over at Patreon at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. We got some parts of 1962 in film over there. And, more importantly, the Cinema Snob review for It's Alive 3. Island of the Alive. I knew I would like this movie. It stars Michael Moriarty, Karen Black, Garrett Graham is in it. Garrett Graham's not in it very much. They don't use him as much as they could, but any Garrett Graham is better than no Garrett Graham. So he does have a couple of funny scenes in the film. Anyway, that review's up there. Yesterday I wrote the review for the Snob episode for the It's Alive remake from 2009. So I finally saw that. Shot that earlier. That'll be on Patreon probably Monday. Without giving it away, I'll say this. I say this exact thing in the review too. Odd-numbered It's Alive movies, good. Even-numbered It's Alive movies, like It's Alive 2 and the remake, not so good. But you'll have to find out if it's better or worse than It's Alive 2. The ending of the It's Alive remake isn't that bad. So, a couple updates on the Snob front. There's a handful of episodes I had to kind of bump up, which means originally what I was planning on doing was I was going to have like a Valentine's Day tie-in episodes, because we do those sometimes. Both of the My Bloody Valentine movies. I think I did a nunsploitation movie some years ago that had Valentine in the title. For all the years I've been doing the Cinema Snob, actually, now that I think about it, those might be the only few times that I've done a Valentine's Day episode. Or at least that the movie was Valentine themed. But this year I actually won't be able to. I was originally planning on doing that slasher, the David Boreanaz, the one David Boreanaz was in, Valentine. I was going to do a Snob episode on Valentine until just last minute. I was like, I don't think I can squeeze that in, honestly. I'll have to wait till next year. I don't remember that much about the movie, so I don't really know if there's that much I'm missing. I don't think I'm missing out on some great material by not reviewing it right away, but I don't know, maybe I'll watch it next year and be like, should have done it last year. There is actually a lot of material in this forgettable slasher from the early 2000s. So the deal is there's a lot of tie-in episodes that I have to do. So already someone in the chat is like, yeah, Valentine's really bad. And then someone below that goes Nosebleed. I'm not even kidding. I looked at myself in the monitor and I was like, do I have a nosebleed? I haven't had one of those since high school. Let me finish streaming and then I'll go get that checked out. No, anyway. James goes, will you do a review of the My Bloody Valentine remake? I did. The 3D one. I did a Snob episode on that last year. I've got one on both of the My Bloody Valentine movies. But I'm planning on finishing my next book in March. Originally, it was going to be February, but I was like, there's too many episodes that I have to do like in that amount of time. It's really no big deal to push it to March. That wouldn't even affect my like release date goal for it. And there's more days in March, so there's that too. But I was like, there's tie-in episodes that I really want to get done before March, before I dedicate a lot of my time to the book. I won't say exactly the episodes that I have coming out because I don't want to jinx it. I say the episodes that are coming out, and then last minute I'll be like, you know what, I want to do something else. No, I got a few stuff that's tying in with some new movies that are coming out. Maybe not the week that I put the Cinema Snob episode up, but I kind of looked at a list and was like, what are some big movies coming out, stuff that I could do a tie-in for? Okay, this one, and I'll kind of just do them all in a row, even if the Snob episode comes out weeks before whatever comes in theater and whatever comes on streaming. Just to give you a hint at a couple of them that I'm planning. But anyway. Oh, man, I'm tired. I'll tell you why. New baby kind of it makes you more tired. I'll tell you what the hardest part is. The hardest time of day is the morning. That's the hardest time of day. Only because, you know, I'm just waking up. The baby's just waking up. So we're kind of just waking up together. Me with my large cup of coffee, him with his smaller cup of coffee. And then we both watch either, we go back and forth on whatever Jack's in the mood for. Is it a Hey Bear day? Is it a Miss Rachel day? It's just kind of, okay, we'll watch this for a little bit. And snaps. Onesies with snaps. I think Laura's okay with the snaps, not me. When it's my turn to get up in the middle of the night to feed Jack, change Jack, I definitely haven't had my coffee, so I'm only kind of half there in my head on autopilot, like changing Jack, feeding him, and all that. I don't want to have to deal with snaps, man. For his onesie, I just want zip, change, feed, zip, good. I don't know why I waited to zip him back up after I fed him, but I am tired. I got that routine all out of order. I don't want to have to deal with, okay, let me see the snap. Okay, this snap goes here, click. This snap goes here. This one here. Does this go to this leg? Am I lining this up right? How did I snap the foot snap to the arm snap? Oh, wait, this whole thing is upside down. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. I just snapped this to your belly button. My bad. You might be awake for a little bit longer. Quiet, you'll wake up mother. Don't tell her that I just snapped on your belly button. Laura likes the snaps better. I don't. Also, the hardest thing. Let's see. Jack just turned. He just turned 4 months the other day. On the 26th, he just turned 4 months old. The hardest thing in the past 4 months is trying to work the Paramount Plus app. Oh yeah, there's hard things with Jack and all. Usually it's just like, keeping him entertained while I'm also tired, and I get broken sleep anyway, so I was kind of already used to broken sleep even before then. My ADHD sleep has been broken for years. Oh, now it's the same thing. There's just a baby here, and I got to figure out these snaps, and that's breaking my concentration. But anyway, let me talk about the Paramount Plus app for a little bit, because this has been the biggest trial and error for me and Laura the past 4 months. And according to different things that we've read on the internet, we're not the only ones that this happens with. So the Paramount Plus app, there are a lot of good things on there. It's not that I'm not recommending the app, because content-wise, perfectly fine. The fact that I know all of these flaws about the app shows you how much we watch it, which is actually quite a bit. So already the app itself, kind of laggy. It's a little bit laggy. You'll be scrolling through different thumbnails and titles on there, and it might take the image a minute to catch up. Like, okay, there's the Paramount logo here, Paramount logo here. Let's wait for it to refresh so we can see what this movie or show is called. Okay, that's what this is called. No, not watching that. Not watching that. I actually would rather watch the Paramount logo than watch that again. So there's a couple of hilarious bugs with this that I haven't really seen on any other app. One, it's choosy about whether or not it wants to pause the thing that you're watching. Oh, for the first part of it, pause button might work fine. After that, if you want to pause it, what it must think that you mean is that you want the program to keep playing, but the banner ad will still show over your content that is continuing to play. So it kind of thinks that pause means don't stop the show, just show me the banner for the Frasier reboot over it. If that's your intent in hitting the pause button, perfect. The Paramount app is just for you. Here's something that I haven't seen on an app before, where when it goes to the next episode, it skips an episode. This has happened to us quite a bit, where episode 2 finishes. You want to watch episode 3? Too bad, you're getting episode 4. And how do you find out you're at episode 4? When the recap at the beginning spoils the hell out of the thing that you're watching. So we've gotten pretty good at catching that. But I've got another thing that tops even that. Here's the thing that had us the most perplexed and took us so long to figure out. We were watching an episode of a show. The opening credits of the show starts, and then it decides to skip to the next episode during the opening credits. Like, 2 options pop up on screen. One of those options is next episode. The other option, watch credits. And I took that as meaning I took that as meaning like just watch the opening credits and don't skip over them. Next episode obviously means next episode, but you can't just click out of those 2 options. You have to pick one of them. If you don't pick one of them, it will just automatically go to the next episode during the opening credits. I tried re-downloading, deleting the app, re-downloading it, refreshing, all of that. Everything you would think that you would do, I did, and it was still doing this. Eventually, I figured out that it thinks it's at the end credits. It's giving you those options because it sees credits and thinks it's the end of the episode. Like you see, Netflix kind of has something like that too. So then I was like, okay, it thinks it's the end credits. So if I actually do click watch credits, it will play the rest of the episode. So by watch credits, it means continue episode, perhaps? Laura's sitting there like, well, we got to get rid of this app. And I go, well, I don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, they got some problems that really need to be worked on. But we do watch a lot of stuff on here. We watch more on Paramount Plus than like Disney Plus. Disney Plus for us is basically like we pay a fee every month to have every Simpsons episode. It's like really technically it's not the only thing we watch on Disney Plus. It's a majority of what we watch on Disney Plus. Sometimes we put on like a classic Disney movie, like I've talked about, like, you know, the first day we brought Jack home, or maybe not the first day, but like the first movie we put on there for him, we had Lady and the Tramp on the TV. So sometimes we're in the mood for classics. We'll put those on. More often than not, we might as well just call it the Simpsons app. You know what my favorite you know what my favorite feature on any of the streaming apps is? And I've only seen it on one app. I've not seen any of the others do this, and I kind of wish they would. My favorite feature is it's Amazon Prime. It's not my favorite app necessarily, but this is my favorite feature on there on Amazon Prime. If you just hit pause on whatever you're watching, it'll pop up every actor who is on the screen. So if I'm looking at something going, I recognize that person. Who is that? You just hit pause, the actors pop up. It is super convenient. It saves me from just popping up IMDb on my phone and being like, okay, this is season 2, episode 13. Let me scroll all the way down. What's the name of this character again? Okay, I think it's this. It's kind of an old picture, but I think it's this. You just hit pause and you can just be like, oh, Robert De Niro, that's who that is. The other apps need to do the same thing, because that is, again, like I said, that's my favorite feature any of them have done. Other than, you know, Paramount Plus's you'll get through this series much quicker if we just play every other episode. The every other episode option. Oh, that made Lost an even more confusing sit. Anyway, I got some stuff written down over there. I've been going back and forth on my list of things to talk about. Let's see. I talked about Valentine, talked about Fighter, brought up Sallow. I'm actually doing all right with the writing schedule and everything. The funny thing is like, oh yeah, sure, you know, Laura's get work Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. You know, I'm watching the baby. Then during his naps, I'm getting my stuff done, like watching and writing the episodes. The funny thing is, it's like, I think I'm actually getting more work done during those days, even with the baby here. And I figured it out. I know why that is. It's because since I only have those nap windows to do like snob writing on, or, you know, whatever else I'm working on that day, since I only have those nap windows, he's a baby, he naps a lot, so like that's not a problem. But since I only have that amount of time, there's very little procrastinating that I do. Because there's not so much procrastinating anymore. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, well, I got a lot of work done over these few days. I got some 1962 stuff watched, some more notes in the book. I got all of the It's Alive movies watched. If you don't like the It's Alive episodes, don't worry, the remake is the last one. Did I get through all of those movies so that when I take time off at the end of the year, I can have them all in a big compilation to put up while I'm gone? Absolutely. Expecting that a few more times during the year, too. I'll get to the unborn films. That'll be easy. There's only 2 of those. I do want to do the children. I want to do more miniseries, too. I got, speaking of which, did some retooling on the homepage earlier. The front page of our YouTube channel. That's, do I even need to say it? It's the site you're on now. YouTube.com/Stone Gremlin Productions. I've been meaning to create some more playlists for a while. I got the movie review 2024 playlist put up. That's on there. But I wanted a collection because people really like the longer episodes a lot. I really wanted like some playlists for for those. So I got a playlist on the front page that has the double feature episodes on it, like the double feature of Getting It On and My Tutor and Skullduggery and what I do was a Sledgehammer. And also going back to the double I did of Carrie and Jennifer and the Exterminator movies. That's all in a playlist. I also got another playlist on there too for the compilation episode. So dude in the chat just mentioned the Hellraiser compilation is in there. The Friday the 13th one. Oh, I've been loving in like the separate filter we have for comments where if YouTube suspects some shenanigans or some like some choice words in the comments that it holds for like approval. Some of that's been hilarious on the compilation episodes, like the Friday the 13th ones, because they'll be reacting to something that they'll think the video's new. They might be reacting to something I said like 10 years ago or something like that, or I even looking at a comment, I have no idea the context for it. Like something will kind of politically get brought up in the comments, or they'll be describing me like I was 10 years ago or something like that, and I'll be like, I think they think this video's new. I'm not sure. I really should have put an intro in front of the Friday the 13th episode, because it does just start. It has no intro in front of it, so everyone's like, or not everyone, but like what is this really dated looking video? Well, actually, that's one of the new episodes. It all looks kind of dated. It's just I have more hair and it's slightly grainier in the older ones from like 10 years ago. So that's been fun to do. But yeah, we have a playlist of compilations like Left Behind, the High School Musical episodes, the Estes Perkle ones, the crazy Christmas episodes like Miss Velma and all those. I put all those on the front page. And I do want to do, I am going to make a playlist too for, I want to do some more episodes like this before I make it. But yeah, one for like the mini-series. I get so much work done in the middle of the week. I could have some time to start doing some more mini-series episodes. Right now, mini-series episodes might as well just be called Stephen King episodes, because they're all Stephen King episodes. Like It, The Stand, both Stand series, Salem's Lot, It, the Shining miniseries. And I think the only miniseries I did that wasn't Stephen King was World War III, which means I gotta do some more. I gotta do some more Cold War miniseries. One of my dream episodes is for the 1987 Cold War miniseries America with a K, where it's what if the Russians won World War III? I am blaming that on the cargo pilots from Fighter, but it's a really long miniseries. It's not even that it's really that crazy. It's just it's my dream to do that as an episode, just to say I did, because it's long. It's like 14 hours or something like that. It's kind of like what doing the episode on Heaven's Gate, where it's like it's not like this is a crazy movie. You just gotta do an episode on some things just to see if you can. So yeah, I kind of want to do an episode on that at some point if I can find a really good quality version of it. For a while it was hard to find. Like for a while I would find some copies of it where the quality was too bit, like either something would be wrong with the audio, or it'd be in another language, or just the quality was so bad that I couldn't even do an episode on it. I'll see if I can find some better quality versions of America, because man, I would love doing that, to do that one. Well, I think that's about it. Before we get to the super chat questions, I don't think I have anything else to ramble about. Just subscribe to our channel for sure, but also subscribe to the playlist too. I hope you enjoy those. Those are over on the front page. All right, now I think we can get to your I see some super chats already in here. It's that time of the episode where I have to navigate through to find the super chat section. All right, why don't I scoot you over here? I'll move you here. All right. And loading. Here it is. Oh, right. It likes making the text really, really wide. Okay. All right. I think we're good. I don't need to see myself. All right. Okay. Well, there's a lot in here. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's plan on this being a few-hour episode. We got some questions lined up. How long did I talk about Fighter and make Sallow references? Danny McGraw goes, "Hey Brad, I won't be able to watch this live, but I wanted to ask, what is your best and worst of the melodramas you've watched for the Snob?" That's another playlist that I got. Wait, I think I do have a playlist of that, actually. Maybe I should put that on the front page. Best and worst of the melodramas. That's a good question. All right. Which ones do I put in that category? Like Moment by Moment, Independence Day 83, Windy City, Dreamer was one, Until September. Okay. Best. This is more of a rom-com. Like, I put it in the stock melodrama choice when I did the polls, but it really is more of a Woody Allen-esque comedy, and that was Soup for One. Speaking of Garrett Graham, who was hilarious in that movie, I did like that. I liked that for whatever like problems that the character had throughout a lot of it, it turned out it really was intentional and was kind of addressed at the end. It was aware about it. So I liked that about it. And I like Saul Rubinek a lot. He and Garrett Graham played really well off of each other. I didn't think it was great, but for that era of like the movies that are definitely trying to be like a Woody Allen film, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Worst, it might be Until September. That movie was weird. Like, so like the one quick rewrite. This is a stalker movie, man. Yeah, probably Until September, which does make it memorable. There's others where they're forgotten melodramas because they're kind of mediocre, and you just like Dreamer, the Tim Matheson bowling movie. It's not that it's terrible. It's just it's there. It's a thing that exists and was forgotten about. Until September was probably the worst. Was it worse than Moment by Moment? You know what? Until September was the most surprisingly bad. Actually, Moment by Moment is probably the worst. Chemistry there wasn't great. The dialogue was... So, Moment by Moment is entertainingly bad. Maybe that one. Matt Florent. Hey, Brad, what's your least favorite entry in the Halloween franchise? Least favorite in the Halloween franchise. Okay. I know a lot of people would probably say Halloween 5, but I actually like Halloween 5. When I was young, I remember disliking it. Then when I saw it as a Snob episode, when I watched it again as a Snob episode, I was looking at it going, this is kind of better than I'm remembering it being. I liked how he was much more Michael Myers is ruthless as hell in that, even more so than than in 4, like way more than 4. They did more stuff in 5 about him kind of being there quietly in the background, and if you're looking for it, you see it. Like, I liked that about it. I liked that I like the ending, and I like that the character of Tina is like sort of your prototype annoying girl who is there to probably die about halfway through. But I like the switch that they did there where it's a lead who dies and she kind of becomes the de facto lead for a while. I liked that turn. Eventually she ends up dying in the movie, and that actually kind of sucks. I wish they had fully gone through with it, with having her be in the rest of the movie. But No, I kind of stick up for 5, but uh, the honestly worst probably the theatrical cut of 6, which was so badly reshot and edited that it made no sense to even try to describe what happens in the last act of it is kind of hard because the editing is so damn confusing. The producer's cut I think is okay because at least it makes sense. Like at least it has a beginning, middle, and end. I don't feel like anything's missing. Um, the director's cut of Zombies 2 is pretty bad because of how really unlikable Laurie is in it. I don't remember the theatrical being like that, but the director's cut definitely was. Worst probably theatrical 6. Drunken Buddha. Coffee is getting re-released on DVD in April. Do you think? Yeah. Asking if I would do any Pam Greer movies. I should do a double feature episode of Coffee and Foxy Brown. That it's kind of weird that I haven't done a double feature on that yet, or really any other. I don't know if I've done a Jack Hill movie as the cinema snob. I hopefully now that it'll be coming back out on DVD, it's not the matted widescreen like it was like in my other DVDs for it from way back when. The Crooked Painter. If you get a chance, check out Cemetery. Oh, I've seen Cemetery. It's been a while. I was drunk when I saw it, but I saw Cemetery Man, the Rupert Everett movie. He goes, it's proper weird. Yes, it is. Anything with Rupert Everett's a little proper. Even Inspector Gadget had some proper scenes in it. Campbellzilla. Did you ever watch... Oh, yeah. Did I ever watch Homicide Live on the Street? I did. I wasn't religious about watching it, but okay, let me think. I'm recalling that airing on like Fridays or Saturdays. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it aired on like Fridays or Saturdays. So it was one of those cases where if I was home, I watched it. I didn't religiously watch it like I did NYPD Blue at the time. But no, I wish I watched more of it than I did. But when I was home and I was watching it, yeah, Homicide was a very good show. Jacob Matthew Carter. You know what's an underrated one? Robbery Homicide Division. The one that was an easy one to see all episodes of because there's only like 6 of them. It was a Michael Mann show and had Tom Sizemore in it. Underrated as hell. If you find some episodes of Robbery Homicide Division, you can probably get through it in a day. Jacob Matthew Crawford. Good evening, Brad. With Valentine's Day being mentioned, what's your favorite non-conventional romance movie? Oh, well, moment by moment. This is Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Non-conventional romance movie. Natural Born Killers is probably up there. The Honeymoon Killers. Honeymoon Killers is a good one. Bonnie and Clyde. The Sadist with Arch Hall Jr., like a 60s Natural Born Killers, and that they're both loosely based on Starkweather. If I was to get if I was to pick one to watch this Valentine's Day, I probably would pick Natural Born Killers because Laura hasn't seen it, and I know she would like it. She would like it a lot. Yeah. Well, there's always when in doubt, there's always audition. When Fat Kills Fat 80. You seen the Netflix documentary on We Are the World? I should. Yeah. I should watch that because that takes me back. Yeah, I should watch the documentary on We Are the World. Then follow it up with a Hands Across America documentary. I'm not talking about the movie Us, though I liked Us a lot. MH We Eat Nation. He didn't ask a question or leave a comment or anything, but thank you for contributing to the super chat. Oh, and it's I believe it looks like this might be an anniversary comment for you. MH We Eat Nation. is a very good contributor to the super chat and makes it here during most of the live streams. So thank you very much for that and for all of your support. There's a balloon and the number 20 next to the comment there, which I take it meaning it's your 20th super chat. So either that or a happy 20th birthday. The young people love me. Happy 20th birthday or happy 20th comment. But either or, thank you so much for the super chat. Kyler Friend, hey Brad, what's your favorite Linklater movie? Mine are Slacker, Dazed and Confused, Before Sunrise, and Waking Life. Ooh, but it might be Before Sunrise. Because you know me, I love a good dialogue movie. Dialogue's my favorite thing in the world to write. I have the most fun with it. Like, yeah, I know I've done a lot of like exploitation-y flicks, but I have the most fun with dialogue. Like, there really is just kind of a art to this conversation that you're just having in your head, and you're writing it all out, and it's fun just hearing those voices in your head of how these people speak, and the banter that they have with each other. When I got into wanting to write, whether it's the scripts I wrote or some old stories I wrote, it was always that I had the most fun with. So a good dialogue movie like that, back and forth conversation between two people, and giving it such a flow and rhythm to how they talk and the chemistry they have with each other. I really love the hell out of that movie. The second one too, Before Sunset, that great ending on that movie as well. Probably those, honestly. Campbellzilla, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic that's going to cover 40 years of his life? Seems a bit overambitious for one movie. It could, depending on the length of the movie. Yeah. I remember, so we'll see how it turns out. Like, biopics are a crapshoot, man. Like, either something will be a good surprise, like Rocket Man, or they'll just be too formulaic and should probably be made for TV, which is more often than not what a lot of them are anymore. That kind of formulaic. Though there was some like very special made for TV ones. I do remember the Jackson miniseries from the 90s being okay. I kind of remember liking that one all right, but there was one. I saw this one at air. I think it was from 2004 maybe, but it was a VH1. Was it 2000 or was it after? The one the VH1 did that was called Man in the Mirror, where they couldn't even get the rights to any of his music, so Grizzly 2 had more Michael Jackson songs in it than the VH1 Michael Jackson biopic Man in the Mirror. There's a way they work 9/11 into it, where he's reunited with his brothers on stage. They had a good comeback special, and then 9/11 is on the television, and Michael's like, no, this is too scary. Get the children away from the TV. Like, don't make this funny. But it's hilarious. So, it'll go up from there. Maybe there'll be a lot of years crammed into one movie. It'll be better than the VH1 one. They at least better cover the Sesame Street Christmas special, the movie Ben, The Wiz, and that's it. Just make it about those three things, and you're good. I'll watch it. I'll call it one of the best movies of the year. Okay, Nathan Palmer. What British gangster movies do you like besides the Guy Ritchie movies? Mine are Gangster #1 and Sexy Beast. Gangster #1 is awesome. That's a great underrated Malcolm McDowell movie. You put a list of just the all-time great crazy-ass Malcolm McDowell movies. Of course, you got Clockwork Orange up there. Of course, you got Caligula up there. Gangster #1. is underrated as hell, and he's so damn good in it. And they have Paul Bettany in it playing a younger Malcolm McDowell, and it is amazing casting on that part. If you haven't seen that, watch it. The opening scene is Malcolm McDowell is at this black tie event, and he has champagne in his hand. He goes to the bathroom to take a piss. He's standing in front of the urinal. He sets his glass down because he's taking a piss, and you see it like urine kind of sprinkle a little bit on accident onto his glass. He picks it up as if he's about to drink it, and then just looks at the camera and goes, "What do you take me for? A cunt?" And it's that opening scene. I'm like, this is going to be one of the all-time great Malcolm McDowell movies. And it is. Of the great, like, non-Malcolm McDowell playing a crazy guy McDowell movie, Time After Time is also one of his best. Long Good Friday is another great British gangster movie. Bob Hoskins, Helen Mirren is in it. Pierce Brosnan is a hitman in the movie who has like no lines of dialogue, but is kind of menacing in his scenes. Great ending too. It's got this ending shot that like still sticks with me. Yeah, man, watch Gangster #1 and freaking Long Good Friday. Though there was one in the early 60s. It's called Never Let Go with Richard Todd. Richard Thomas. Oh yeah, John Boy in an early 60s gangster movie. No, Richard Todd. And Peter Sellers, where it was a total against type role. And I love that kind of thing. I love it when this kind of thing happens. Where it's a completely against type role for Peter Sellers, where he's a crime boss in it, who has this like stolen car racket. Like he sends these people out to just steal people's cars, and then he strips them and sells them, and he's just a sadistic monster in the movie. And he has Richard Todd's car stolen, and then Richard Todd is on this kind of obsessed crusade to get his car back. Like, it's a simple story. It's like a guy just wants his car back after it was stolen, and one thing leads to another, and he and Peter Sellers are in this car garage at the end fighting each other with chains. It's great. Check this movie out. Especially again to see Peter Sellers play like something you would have seen like Dennis Hopper play years later. Okay. Jacob Matthew Crawford, what's the most concerning weight gain or loss you've seen an actor do for a film, like the ones Christian Bale and Robert De Niro have done? Probably those. Yeah, I actually can't think of. I mean, yeah, there's there's Brendan Fraser, but like in he wasn't wearing any. De Niro wasn't really wearing any suits, though. I don't think underneath. Like I thought it was all him. Like when he gained all that weight in Raging Bull. So like that, and yeah, Christian Bale and The Machinist. I'm kind of looking. Oh well, someone's talking. They're talking British gangster movies in here now over in the chat. Yeah, I'd put Layer Cake in there. I'm a friend of any movie that has awesome uses of Duran Duran music. Yeah, Layer Cake's really good. Where was I? Oh, honestly, I think you kind of answered it for me. I probably off the top of my head. Oh, chat's mentioning McConaughey. Yeah, McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. That's a big one. What they should have done is what I did during the Cinema Snob movie, where it was like, I need to lose a bunch of weight for this film, but I made the mistake of I'm losing weight during it still, and it's shot out of order. Hence, scenes where I'm fat and scenes where I'm not, all taking place in the same day. I think a movie I did called Midnight Heat. I think that was kind of like that too. Maybe not as obvious. Midnight Heat, though, that could have been some alcohol weight. Drunken Buddha. says the McRib is back in Canada. Lucky. There was it Canada? There's somewhere that is serving a McRib Deluxe with a McRib with some mayo and some tomato and lettuce on it, which I guess you could technically do here just on the app where it gives you a bunch of different add-ons you can put on it. Just add that. Boom. You got yourself a McRib Deluxe. I'll do that next time McRib is back. I'll do a Brad tries on that. The McRib Deluxe, the off-menu version. MH We Eat Nation. Have you seen the Hulu film Fresh starring Sebastian Stan? We did watch that, and we liked it. I'm hard-pressed to remember any other details about it. Other than Sebastian Stan was really good in it, because he's the bad guy in it, right? He's a killer. He abducts someone in it. Man, dude, I watched so many. I do remember liking this film. I do. I don't think it would have made my 10 best by any means or something or anything like that. But no. Sebastian Stan as the bad guy in that, way better than when he was the bad guy. I like Sebastian Stan a lot, but when he was the bad guy in the 355 on not give it. The bad kind of not give a shit mode. The kind where it's like, he's just kind of going through the lines here and is like, yeah, I guess I'll be in this movie. Sure, why not? January action movie. All right, well, this is the level of performance you're getting in this. If it was the awesome kind of not give a shit mode, he'd have gone way the hell over the top. No. I can't remember many specifics about it, but I do remember liking Fresh. I think. And MH again. It's giving me more balloons and the number 20. So congratulations on it. Maybe possibly still being your 20th birthday. We had a lot of questions this time, so I actually want to kind of scroll up and make sure I didn't miss anything. Riveted. Thank you for being here for this live stream of me scrolling through and making sure I didn't miss any questions, and it doesn't look like I did. All right, people. We'll go ahead and wrap this up for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me on this Thursday. It's Alive 3. Cinema Snob is over on Patreon right now. Got some sections of 1962 and film over there. I'll have a couple of short movie reviews coming up for Argyle and Jungle Bunch, the animated movie. Again, I think that's what it's called. I'm being snarky about it, but watch it make my 10 years best for next year. All right, let's go ahead and get on out of here. I hope you all have a great weekend as I do the most important thing in all of these episodes. When I put up the King Frat music, because if it's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of my life, it's going to be stuck in your head too. All right. Take care, guys.